Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and welcome to the episode 78 of the Cyberpunk 2077 community podcast. Today with me, I have the usual gang, starting from the right. MadQueen, welcome.
Greetings, Earthlings.
And Neon Arcade.
Yo, how's it going?
And of course, Obsidian from the Triple S League.
Hello.
Well, we had a fun week. Actually, got more than expected from the Tokyo Game Show. We got some gameplay, of course updated, some new, but still. What did you all think about the event?
I thought it was awesome. Seeing the new the new form of the 48-minute Maelstrom scene.
Mm-hmm.
If you put them side by side, I've seen some side by side videos. Man, the upgrade is huge. Minus the clipping and stuff like that, but damn, it looks so much better in my opinion.
It's a big improvement. It really is.
Yeah, especially when you look at the light and just the textures overall on the clothing, and just it looks cleaner. I don't know, the textures look a lot cleaner than before. We did have that problem of some things looking blurry, if you remember, from Deep Dive. I'm really glad those things are now. Didn't notice them. I mean,
yeah, everything looked a lot cleaner. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah,
I think that was an issue with their DLSS 1.0 was pretty bad. I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point what that was, but it's gotten fixed at least. So
true.
And that's and I mean, this is one of the main reasons why they don't necessarily want to show off this stuff so early, is because there's a lot of little issues that essentially boil down to, it's something that's it's not an easy fix, but it is a fixable thing, but it just takes time, and then once it's done, then it's done.
Yeah, we also did hear people complain a bit about clipping, and there was some clipping in certain scenes, but I guess those things are not really huge issues. Just
I don't think they won't ship it like that. The clipping is pretty pronounced as to where they would definitely go back and fix that. That's not how it's going to be shipped. 100%.
Yeah, because technically they can always easily go. We've seen some characters standing in T-pose, and I said look, they could have easily just went to a cool location which is not fully done yet, just to get some gameplay footage, to show more variety of the city. And of course in the somewhere you could have a T-pose character or whatever. It could have been obviously nitpicked to show you without any glitch whatsoever. So kind of glad that they did in the end. I don't know.
I'm sure when you drastically rehaul your game like this, that was the 48 minutes was the most polished part in 2018, and it seems like they've gone back to the drawing board and really obviously updated we saw, and I'm sure that reintroduces a whole bunch of issues. So there was no clipping in the first 48 minutes with the Maelstrom and the scene that we saw there, but it was in this new one, so it's probably just because of the changes they made. Right? Probably reintroduces a whole bunch of stuff that they got to iron out, which is not easy. Yeah.
There is something I wonder about the visual improvement is how much of it is due to the RTX features, and how much of it the mere mortals like myself who can't afford the latest GPU is going to be available for us. How downgraded regarding to this is going to be for the people that has regular GPUs?
Well, we don't even know if this was with RTX on, do we?
That's why I started with I wonder if.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of I suppose that there'll be a noticeable difference, but it's especially with RTX, it's one of those things. It's pre-RTX, post-RTX. In 3 years, pretty much everybody's going to have RTX. So it is a transition period, and so there's some oddities that might happen like that, but I don't think so, because this isn't well, I don't know. Do you think we could classify this as a tech transitionary game, or is it something that's more, you think it's more designed for the last gen?
Well, they said that since the beginning, they said that they were designing the game having the next generation of hardware in mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 But
So
when
I
they
think-
started that, I don't think they even had RTX confirmed. Like when they started
No.
working on this, even from the engine perspective, that's not even close to it.
Yeah. No.
So
No. Yeah.
Well, no, but they had in mind the fact that there were going to be some technological improvements when it comes to hardware
Mhm.
because of the dates. I mean,
Yeah. If anything, they can at least adapt the game so once the new consoles come out, it will look a little bit better. It will perform better in a sense for as long as the full update doesn't come. So at least they thought about that, which is good.
mhm.
Yeah, from that perspective. But regarding the footage, honestly, I don't think it had RTX on because there were some places, especially in the old foods factory, where some light just didn't reflect and it had surfaces where it could. So
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
And the good thing is it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not playing on RTX, it's not like you're going to be playing at like the half the experience or something like that. It's just like little things that you notice from time to time. At least for me, maybe I'm just not paying attention, but it's not like a super drastic change between RTX and non.
Yeah, it's just small.
From what we've seen.
Yeah, small details, I guess.
Hmm.
But we'll see. They did say that they are going to release some requirements regarding RTX. I'm interested to hear what they have to say regarding that, but it's probably gonna be like, look, if you want to play in RTX, obviously you have to go either to 2080 to play in, like, let's say 4K. Can you play a game in 4K with RTX on with 2080?
You'll get like 30 FPS.
Yeah. But for
Mhm.
1080p gaming, well, obviously your game is gonna run like charm, or even like 2K.
Yeah, and that's where DLSS 2.0 really saves you a lot of issue because it upscales that image to 4K. Like say you're at 1080p and it upscales it to 4K, and then you can retain your frames per second, still get that clean image, and then you can, it allows you to turn RTX on
Mm-hmm.
and not take a huge dip into the, 30 FPS territory, whatever.
Yeah, and obviously, like, I mean, that's personal preference, but if you want a sharp footage, you can just go 2K. You don't even have to go 4K to have like the crispiest footage. For me personally, if I want to go 4K, I'll do it on a TV, on a huge screen. For a
Right.
monitor, nah, I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
Even 4K monitors are quite expensive still, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus you have to have a good GPU to run the games
Yeah.
you want. And
Yeah, of course.
and even that, it's like, do you want a good refresh rate? What do you play? Like, that's also something which people take into account. But yeah, I still like high refresh rate rather than bigger resolution.
Yeah, likewise.
Does anyone have to say anything for this, or we can continue to Saburo? And then after that, we are going to talk about the media classes a bit. Mad Queen would like to chip in more into that.
yes,
So we can...
I'd like to chip in. I'd like to chip in because, well, Matti, huge shout out to Matti. I am still iced. I love his videos because I don't know how he gets the color he gets on the videos. I'm so jealous. But he just did a video where he talked about why he thought that the last Night City Wire was not as good as the other two that were presented so far.
Mhm.
And I think I rewatched it again after watching his video, and there was something that was bugging me about it, and I believe that I realized what it is. I didn't like the introduction of the character class of the Medias.
Mhm.
So the Medias was a character class in the pen and paper game. Is not playable in the game, but it exists in the universe. So the Medias are the people that is responsible of delivering the mood of the universe, because a lot of things that are explained in the lore are explained as in the newspapers with pieces of newspapers explaining things. So one of the things that always separated the Mike Pondsmith cyberpunk to the rest of cyberpunk writers is the sense of humor. The sense of humor of the cyberpunk universe has always been very, very dark, and very over the top. And the medias were the ones who delivered this sense of humor. So as an example, for instance, you can go to Twitter. There is a hashtag that was called Night City Headlines that I hope they continue it. That was started by Talsorian Games, the creators of the Cyberpunk universe. And you had headlines like Execution the Musical ending record-breaking 12-month run due to lack of cooperation by state prison by providing new death row inmates for the starring role. This is a typical news on Night City. Or another one, cybernetically enhanced opera singer shatters every agent screen in a 3-block radius. So the news deliver the tone of the universe, and they are so sensationalistic. By the way, we are catching up. We are catching up because looking for that, I found another headline, Real World, from the beginning of the year, that said the maker of disinfectants Lysol and Dettol has issued a press release telling people not to inject themselves with disinfectant after President Donald Trump suggested disinfectants and light could be injected into the human body to kill the corona. We are catching up, okay? We are catching up. The thing is that this over-the-top sense of humor, and then you also have the more serious medias like Tesla Johansson, Thompson, Best Isis, but they are also very sensationalistic and very ominous, a little bit like Samuel L. Jackson in RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
So this style of medias is something that I didn't see in the Night City Wire. I saw medias that were very normal. They weren't over the top. They weren't expressing this sense of humor. And it was the perfect moment to give it away, especially when you have this media trying to explain the universe, and Night City saying that, so many people is killed in the streets of Night City, and most people live below the poverty line. And the way of delivering, it's not at the height of your usual media in the Cyberpunk universe, in where everything is so over the top. And this is something that I missed a lot. I expected much of spectacular introduction of the media character class, because we know that all character classes are going to be in the game, even if they're not playable. And being as relevant as medias are, I believe that the presentation was a little flawed. I don't know if this is something that relates only to the marketing campaign or to the game, because obviously, as we didn't play the game, the only tools we have to understand it is whatever they showed to us. But yes, as a presentation of the character class, I am not very happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's just more nuanced for like the general viewer who just wants something that's kind of like entertaining from a trailer? You know what I mean? Like, is it just like a marketing thing, and then like that's obviously readily present in the game, and it's not as bombastic and GTA-like as the trailer is making it seem?
But you can make it bombastic as well and make it over the top, because that's the Mike Pondsmith cyberpunk way. I mean, why hiding it? Because I can understand that certain topics of the game may be hidden, because go figure, because they have a reason, but they don't want to show. But something like that is so significant, is so representative of the universe, and should be representative of the game as well. I believe that this is something that should be shown in the marketing campaign. This over the top.
That was the perfect time to show it. Obviously, introducing the media characters, or at least some of them. I agree with you. That would have been the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Also because one of the most funny things about the media characters is they show how the people of Night City have normalized the most horrible things. And they talked about Execution the Musical. I mean, it's part of this universe, the sensationalistic, but at the same time, they see the most horrible things as normal. And this particular nuance of this character class, I don't believe that is represented when the character class was introduced.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm interested to... Yeah, I'm sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just wanting to say I'm interested to hear how that develops and see how it develops, because I saw that some series over there, like some shows they showed, are gonna be like talk shows or something. So maybe that pulls it out. But one thing I can agree on, there was, I would maybe add a little bit more, I don't know, difference in, because every single show they presented was just I don't know, kind of simple in a sense, screen behind them. As Mad Queen said, they were not over the top in that sense. Like when you see them, like they're not crazy enough. I don't know. From
The thing is
from
that
that
you see.
perspective, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm done.
The thing is that you see the nomad life path, and I saw it and I thought they nailed the nomads.
Yeah.
And you see the corporate life path, and they nailed the corporates. And Street Kid is not a character class, but I believe they nailed the flavor of the poorest side of Night City. But the medias, no, they are so GTA style that when I say that, people's like, oh, heresy. Well, yeah, I'm terribly sorry, but.
So what do you think about the branding then? Because like I think a lot of the advertisements have that dark, twisted kind of humor that maybe you might be more referring to, like some of the ads and.
Some they do. I really loved the Corporate Wars the musical. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
A little disappointed though that the Mr. Statcom ad is PG-13. I mean, you had another ad that was for selling drinks.
Mix it up. Yeah.
Where you have a huge dick in display, but then the company that actually sells dicks, the ad is PG-13. It's like, this is a little confusing. I'm sorry. You put more dicks on a drinking commercial for a drink, for a soda.
I wonder if some people are now, wait, that's what Mr. Stud is? I mean, yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to misread that, because it sort of sounds like a weapon when you think about it. You're like, oh look, I got a bunch of loot today. I got a Ripper. I got an auto aim. I got a Mr. Stud. That must be interesting.
It's a weapon of ass destruction, not mass destruction.
So. Yeah, but you said one thing which is good, Neon. Like their ads, like what they show in the city, represent that a lot better. But maybe they haven't shown all of the medias. But yeah, they should have. The first impression was I think. But we'll see.
Yeah, even like the sorry, go. Let me just finish this one.
Yeah, I'm done.
There's just this one woman who was doing the like N54 feed, and it was like just a stereotypical like news feed that you'd see like even today, and there's like nothing unique about it. There's nothing over the top outlandish. So I guess like also speaks to
this is the one that broke my heart. Because this was a best ISIS moment. And she was so typical. Not even the cyberware was outstanding.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Well, we shall see what's gonna happen. Yeah, true. They said that you're gonna be able to watch TV in your apartment and outside. I do wonder like what else besides that. Obviously brain dance and shows, games. And because they said that they're gonna have one Gwent-sized, again, Gwent-sized, not Gwent guys, not Cyber Gwent, Gwent-sized mini game. I wonder if that's gonna be in that sort of a brain dance thing. But yeah. Hopefully it is something that can be also a spin-off, because Gwent was extremely successful. Now, are we done with this? I wanted to gloss over Saburo Arasaka a bit, because we got...
Well, before we move on, now that you mentioned the spin-off game, I'm really disappointed that the game that Spoko was developing is not Cyberpunk. Since they bought the company, I've been convinced it was going to be a Cyberpunk game, and that we would have some sort of Fallout Shelter style game of Cyberpunk on the phone, before
Yeah.
the game releases, and now, no.
I mean,
they
yeah.
got involved so early before they knew like the full scope of Cyberpunk, whereas like the moment that they got involved into with CDPR, they knew obviously the full scope of Witcher 3 and in that kind of sense, they knew everything about it. So if they're gonna approach CDPR about having an idea, maybe they need that kind of reference of all the stuff in the past versus just seeing a fraction of Cyberpunk.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, if you read a lot of books written by Mike Pondsmith, you also can approach celebrating that with an idea.
This is true. This is true.
I mean, they can always do it in the future.
Yes, I hope.
They're gonna stay in the family, in the CD Projekt family. So what I'm interested to see what they have for us in the future, because yeah, obviously Witcher Slayer can go on for some time. It's not gonna go on forever. But I'm interested to see how it's gonna work, obviously, because it's an AR game. It's generally interesting. I like the idea because it's different. It's not something obviously you can just play and drop in your phone while you're at home. I don't know. I think it's going to appeal to a decent amount of people. I know I will try it out, but the problem with that comes like for how long will people play, because you try out an AR game and you're like, yeah, this is cool, and then you forget about it. But we'll see. Looks very interesting so far with quests and everything. Now, before we go to Saburo Arasaka, just thank you everyone for coming to the podcast. It really helps us a lot, and please click that like button. We hate asking you to, but we have to play ball with the YouTube algorithm. It says to YouTube that these streams are worth watching. So yeah, thank you.
Before we go to Saburo, I want to answer something that has been popping up in the chat since we started the stream.
Absolutely.
Sponsored by Arasaka. Well, this started because I designed the original first background that we had in the podcast, and before that my streams were sponsored by Arasaka, and this is because my longest living character in Cyberpunk 2020, who was a solo called Alice Cooper, was killed by Militech. So here's the joke of the competition of Militech sponsoring me, because I hate Militech. And now it became a joke, and there's more people that talks about Cyberpunk that has this sponsored by Arasaka thing.
Really?
Yes.
Damn. Yeah, but it's been a long part of the podcast. I'm not even like, I didn't even think of removing it when I was making it. I'm like, no, it's better if we could stay.
Why would
with
you?
that. Yeah.
It's gotta stay.
It's gotta stay. It's gotta stay. Nothing. No, never mind. I want to say something, but not for the podcast. Now, let's see. We're gonna answer all of the questions, guys. Don't worry as the podcast comes to the close. But Saburo Arasaka, we actually saw the first proper look of Saburo Arasaka. So what do you think? And about him speaking only Japanese in every localization.
Yeah,
Maybe.
how is
I
that
would
gonna
feel
work?
very offended if it was otherwise. Saburo is like the most patriotic Japanese person ever. What would he even bother to have Cyberware to speak any other language? Not to mention that he's a man that is used to the rest of the world to adapt to him. So why would he learn your language? You're no one.
But
you
does
have
that-
to
does
speak
that-
his.
Does that mean we're not gonna be able to understand him? Because we can get the translator implants, right? That's
Yeah.
the whole purpose of understanding different languages in the universe, right? With the Creole and the Japanese and whatever. So are we gonna be able to translate what he says?
If we
With
can
that?
translate Korean, is that we can translate Japanese as well.
I'm pretty sure Japanese is going to be a pretty copy translator or a pretty common translator. And I suspect it's one of the ones that they've has especially focused on, because it's something that they like. It's obvious that that's a big group of their fans, right?
True. But yeah, does that translator just come with the default gear, or do you actually have to get it?
I think it's probably like
Because it would
you'll
be
have
fun.
gear, and then you'll buy out certain like
Yeah.
enhancements and
Yeah.
stuff.
King O, thank you so much for $20. Hat Queen, Cyber Waifu B, do you think cosmetic cyber augments will be separate from utility-based augments, allowing for deeper customization? Well, obviously you're gonna be able to customize the augment you have, and I guess put different metals on it, different colors. We're still not sure how exactly that's going to look like, but what from we were able to see from like different cyberware that people used, it's gonna be, I guess, maybe some design stuff, different, I guess, versions of the same with different, like, because we've seen that some arms have like spikes on them, etc., etc. So it's definitely gonna be tied to your augmentations that you, I guess, wear. So
I think they've said we have options for fashion wear and stuff like that as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but
Well, actually, the biomonitor was originally fashion wear.
There you go.
so obviously
I refuse to be caught in an unmatching outfit. My goodness, like
Twist
Oh.
them, yeah.
this is just unacceptable.
yeah, obviously fashion is gonna be a huge thing in Cyberpunk, and I definitely expect people to start posting a lot of their characters once the game comes out. Yeah.
And I'm going to start buying fabric and replicating a lot of things to wear on my daily life, especially on the kitsch style.
Yeah, I saw that like kitsch style has a lot of like those I guess inspirations from the 90s, a lot of them in the 80s. I like that.
Yeah, I love that because usually when we think about the inspirations of Cyberpunk, we think of the 80s. And if we're talking about a renewal of Cyberpunk, we should move a decade on and use the 90s instead of the 80s. And that is something that I loved. Also, it has a flair of Eastern European that I also loved.
Definitely.
Is your character gonna have socks and sandals? I heard that's popular in Poland.
But yeah, one thing
I hope.
yeah, definitely. And also the faces, like a lot of faces that I noticed, like a lot of them have Slavic complexions, and a lot. I heard some people say that as well, which was I just actually went to look, and yeah, definitely like the shape of the heads and everything, like
Yeah, you're right.
we over here full Gopnik. Okay. Well, besides that, them is something from the Japanese, from the Tokyo game show.
There was that new scene with the briefing with Dexter, Deshawn, and T-Bug. It wasn't like anything that we haven't seen. We've seen that in the gig. But it was a little bit more of an extended look. So I guess that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The little animations that each of the characters did when they were sitting was like made it feel very realistic. Like Jackie has this like little OCD like leg tap that he does. And it just like brings everything together really nicely.
There was also this scene
I-
between
and-
Judy and Evelyn. And it's funny because I saw a screen capture of the scene of Judy looking at the character, the player character, like face of disgust. And I thought, yeah, I like the animation because you could notice her disgust looking at me.
Looks of disgust and little OCD habits like tapping the leg and like bumping the leg. This is something that pretty much all of the males in my family do, and it drives all of the females in my family absolutely mental because they just like stop, you're shaking the table, stop.
By the way, we finally had a look to the cover of the inside of the game version of the Rage Bottom's Guide to the Net, which is something that we could see that existed on the gameplay of long ago on the deep dive. And I remember when we first saw it, there was the book, you could see the title, and on top of it there was another book, and we couldn't see the illustration. And I said, I'm sure they're going to make a parody of the Neuromancer. They did. I want this version of the book printed. Please,
For the
all
cover?
Talsorian games, make it happen. The cover inside
yeah,
the
yeah,
universe, like the book of Rage, the source book of Cyberpunk 2020, Rage Bottom's Guide to the Net, exists, and the cover is Rage Bottomos with these glasses that are the most famous cover of the Neuromancer. That's the case with the glasses of Net Running. I need that as a poster, please. Please. And in fact, it's funny because I'm seeing all the posters that they release, and it's like, oh yeah, I like it. I should buy one. Yeah, I should. This I also like this one. If they made this Rage Wildboss, I would buy 20.
I agree. I agree. That's actually a good idea. Maybe we get a new version of that book with those, with I don't
Maybe
know.
for Red, they have a bunch of source books they're working on, so maybe an updated classic cover like that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So.
I hope. Sorry.
No, nothing. Continue, please.
I hope that Cyberpunk Red sells a lot, because the more it sells, the more books we will have. And Cyberpunk Red is the most beautiful edition of a Cyberpunk game. My pumpkin Cyberpunk is the most beautiful edition ever. The illustrations are just so beautiful. You're going to love them. They are fantastic. The whole edition, it has a love and a care, and also a capital to invest because, well, they did what they could in past editions of the pen and paper game. For those of you who remember, the third edition, instead of illustration, had pictures of dolls, of brats and GI Joes. And it was a little, yeah, it was funny though. And it's super lovely to see so many beautiful illustrations in the new Cyberpunk Red, and there are plenty everywhere. They are super cool. You're going to love it. Even if you don't intend to play the part, or you can skip the part of the rules and go directly to the lore, because the game is going to be huge. But yeah, beautiful. The game is beautiful.
And the book is a Bible, I imagine. But obviously, it's gonna come out soon. Don't worry, guys. Cyberpunk Red is coming relatively soon. They still have issues, obviously, with 2020 as it is. That also comes with distribution, because they don't only want to go digital, they also want to support the bookstores, which is honestly great for them to also think about that, because they don't have to. And just before we continue, thank you, Martin Orlando, for $10. Thanks for the content creation over the years. Quick question, is Little Italy in the video game or just a pen and paper Night City? No, we haven't seen Little Italy on the map. It hasn't been mentioned, so I guess it's not gonna be included in that sense. All right. Now, see any questions? Adidas sneakers. Yeah, Adidas sneakers were actually, I believe, cancelled.
Yeah, they were canned. That lasted about like 2 days. I don't know if this news story was before that, but like ever since I found out about it, it was like the next day they were canceled.
Yeah. Oh, I made
But
a
are they
video.
cancelled for real? Oh, it's a rumor.
It's a rumor. I don't
Yeah.
think there's concrete details, but
So far, I don't remember a single rumor about Cyberpunk that was true.
but I guess this is kind of different because it's like comes from like sneakerhead sites and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
or like Adidas themselves.
And they like sneakers a lot.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I would have expected if they made sneakers based on the Cyberpunk universe to be closer to the ones that of Back to the Future. Something more on this style.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the shoes, it was more like Cyberpunk 2077 as just as a product for the game, in a sense, more than being a product from the game. Like you said. So
Like, why did they just do like a Converse collaboration? Because like the main characters wear shoes that look like Converses.
that would sell, man. Those with LEDs.
Make them the little
Well-
light up ones that when you step, they like light up like the little kids have.
It's one of those things where I don't necessarily think that they would sell as well as some people think they would, in the sense of like being able to sell that to the companies. Not that they wouldn't be popular. I phrased that weird, but that it's like trying to get the whatever company or shoe company or whatever to actually like invest in that concept. It's so hard to do that. It's so hard to pitch companies to be like, hey, you should market to here, and they're like, why? Well, it's a popular thing that's going on right now. It's like, why would we want to? It's like, and probably one of the better examples of this is McDonald's with the Szechuan sauce. It's like
The what?
every time they bring the Szechuan sauce
What's
for the
that?
chicken bits.
Szechuan?
It's Szechuan, yeah. It's a sauce. It's like a sweet and sour spicy sauce. But for whatever reason,
I think it's a
they
North
just
American
refuse to
thing.
bring it back. So okay. So apparently everybody here doesn't know. So back in like when the first Mulan movie came out years and years ago, McDonald's had a Szechuan sauce to go with their chicken nuggets, and it was kind of sort of popular. And then Rick and Morty like talked about it in an episode once, and it blew everybody's mind. And then everybody started like screaming for it, and Szechuan sauce packets from like that are like 15, 20 years old were selling on eBay for like 10 grand, and people were going nuts for it.
What?
And so McDonald's is like, okay, well let's do this. We'll bring back our Szechuan sauce. They brought it back in like hyper limited quantities, and people went nuts. There were riots, and people were paying again hundreds of dollars per packet sauce for people who could smuggle them out.
What?
And then this just kept on going, and it's like why don't they just release it, for like a solid like 3 months, just say, hey, we're bringing it back, we're replacing either honey mustard or something like that, and we're bringing it back. Why can't they do that? It's the same reason why companies won't look at this stuff, is because they don't think that there's they don't see or feel that there's going to be like a particular win for it, so they just completely ignore it for some odd reason. And that's why it's hard to get companies to be like, hey, we should do this thing, and drinks and chips are about the only like industries that tend to like do this more so than the others. Like
Well,
you'll
there's,
see,
there's sorry.
yeah, you'll see like every movie that comes out, Doritos or Lay's or whoever will do like a big like deal and partnership with them, but nothing else. It's like you'll have like you'll never have clothing or like other like household goods that just really match. Like they could have like a futuristic sci-fi show based in like this home in on Mars or something like that, and you wouldn't be able to sell any of the like, you make a mixer for like food, just a regular like countertop mixer, and to have it like stylized in a particular way, still not gonna happen.
Wow.
There is a point where licensing is a business, but it's also advertising.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe all the companies that now don't want to invest on Cyberpunk on the future will want. But at the point, most of the products we've seen so far are for people who are already into gaming and know what Cyberpunk is. The fact that they are expanding the brand beyond things that are not gaming is very interesting, because this is what makes a game really a blockbuster, when people that are not really into the gaming scene consumes those games and consumes products related to those games, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We also forgot.
I mean,
about,
it'll start to pick up more. Yeah, it really will. But
they should have gone with like smart sneakers or something like in universe a little bit. Have you guys heard of that? There's like little LCDs. There's like little screens on the side of sneakers these days that you can like sync with your media and your devices and stuff like that, and they have different. That would be more in line with something cyberpunky.
I remember
very, very niche and out there, but
I remember when a dude. I remember this story. I can't remember what it was from. It was from a paper, but it happened. It's like this guy had just committed a robbery. He robbed like some like convenience store or something like that, and he's running around the neighborhood trying to like ditch the cops. And it's in the middle of the night, and there's no lights on, but the cops keep on finding him, and they keep on like finding him. And he does like crazy things. He starts doing like parkour stuff, like jumping up onto fences and onto the top of a house, over to the other side, down the thing, slide down a ravine, doing that. And sure enough, they spot him again, and they keep coming after him. And then he's like, what is going on? How can they know where I am all the time? And they finally arrest him, and he's like, man, you guys are really good. I don't know how you caught me. And they're like, well, your sneakers have those little red dot lights that light up every time you step.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be seeing that a lot in the future, And not just on children, trust me, it's gonna be a wild trend. I just wanna get this, where is it? Oh, yeah. Neon Cyber Samurai, thank you so much for $20. In the Cyberpunk 2077 lore book, some of the gang sizes are really small and some are in the thousands. Do you think that will be reflected in the game? Yes.
Can I get this question?
Absolutely.
So in the book and when they explain the gangs of the universe, there are sometimes confusion about what is a faction and what is a gang. For instance, the Aldecaldos, they are not a gang. They are a faction. The Aldecaldo family, the Aldecaldo tribe is a faction, but they are not a gang, and they are composed of hundreds of thousands of nomads, and they are divided in different families. They are all Aldecaldos, but they are not together. So you are not going to see all of them. And then, for instance, there's another tribe of the nomads, another nation of the nomads that is called the Raffen. And then they have the largest gang they have is the Wraiths, and this is a gang. So there's this confusion about what is a gang and what is a faction. And then the other thing is that if you see the explanation of the gangs that they did in the Night City Wire, there are gangs that are in small spaces of Night City, and there are others that are omnipresent and extended through whole districts, like the Valentinos. And the Valentinos and the Tiger Claws are the two main gangs in size, also because they are expanded on different districts of Night City, like differently to the 6th Street that you can expect them to be a small gang, because they don't operate the way they, for instance, the Tiger Claws operate are like the street level crime branch of Arasaka.
Yeah.
They operate like some sort of mafia, so they are much more standard. And also the relationships between the community and the gangs also makes them be bigger, because you count the people that is in the gang and they can constantly expand the gang because they have a lot of people around they trust, which is different to other gangs in which, like the Wraiths, for instance, you have to be kind of psychopathic to join the Wraiths. And before welcoming you to the gang, they most probably would also first dismember you and feed you to the dogs, as well as the Maelstrom. It's also difficult for the Maelstrom to expand because they are not rooted inside the communities, like in the sense that the Tiger Claws and the Valentinos are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is why I think we're going to see an expansion that's really going to focus on more of the gangs. It really just fits for, I think, what they want to do with that. And I suspect that the multiplayer might have something to do with the gangs too.
Could be, but also just to go back to this, for example, like mocks generally are 150 members or something like that. They're kind of small, but when Elizabeth Lizzie Borden was actually killed by the Tiger Claws, they were embedded so well in the community that you had riots against Tiger Claws, and they were in a deep trouble. So let's say, yeah, maybe Maelstrom has 1,000 members, maybe Mox has 150, but that does not mean that these are weaker in a sense. They're maybe better trained, better equipment. As Mad Queen said, Tiger Claws obviously get the funding, get the equipment from Arasaka, so getting to them is not gonna be as easy as getting to Maelstrom, for example. So yeah. What else? Please answer my question. Where was it? Oh, there's a lot of questions. Thank you everyone for writing all of this, for participating each week. It truly means a lot. Why would they show old gameplay? It looks bad though. Progress. And also when a project is in production stage, if it's still being worked on, you can see, as I said, progress. And second of all, not all textures and not everything is applied yet. So that's why you can probably have some work which is in early access, which does not represent the final look of the game. I think, yeah, it's honest that they show it.
Well, also, if they didn't show anything, there was going to be a riot.
Yeah.
Because the original teaser said that the game was going to be released in 2015. Do you remember that? The glitch inside the trailer?
Yeah.
The game was going to be released in 2015. They were about, quote unquote, about to finish The Witcher 3.
Yeah, just a bit off there, huh?
Yeah,
Just
a little
bit.
bit. Only 5 years. Only.
Well, here we are. Yeah, I still remember my first video. It's like, yeah, we're gonna be playing this in 2017, maybe 18. Sure we are.
Well, for those of you in the audience that don't know the story, they started to become more and more ambitious with The Witcher because with The Witcher 3, seeing the success of the 2, they wanted to do better and better, and they went so crazy that in the end they had to move all the developers from Cyberpunk to The Witcher. So they completely stopped working on Cyberpunk. They only assigned a small number of people, and they moved everybody to The Witcher to finish The Witcher 3. That was delayed and was finished, was delivered in 2015. So it wasn't until The Witcher 3 was shipped that they couldn't really focus on Cyberpunk 2077 because they had the idea of having 2 different teams of developers working, but it didn't work. It didn't work because apparently a certain game director is a little crazy and likes crazy ideas. And I guess that this is crazy and ambitious because someone on top of him is also even crazier and likes crazy ideas. So people tend to get carried away, and if they can afford, economically speaking, because The Witcher 2 also was way more successful than expected. So economically, it helped them to become more ambitious with The Witcher 3, and also meant moving all the developers to The Witcher 3. That's why it wasn't delayed so many years. It's that the production stopped.
Yeah.
And actually, the funny part is that they had another people working on Cyberpunk, a small number of people. And when The Witcher 3 was finished, they went back to Cyberpunk and they said, "Well, I really don't like this. Let's start anew." So yeah, there were plenty of assets that they could reuse for Cyberpunk 20 for this version of Cyberpunk 2077, but there were plenty other things that they started from scratch.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to do them better.
Yeah. And we see obviously the progress right now. I just want to answer 2 quick questions. One is from Martin. Do you think gangs will take over larger and larger parts of the city if you help them fight their enemies? Will you be able to shape the future of Night City? Well, I'm not sure about them expanding and how that is going to be handled through a story. And will you be able to shape the future of Night City? Well, this is more about story saving yourself. So even if you are gonna be able to do that, I don't think it's going to be anything grand in a sense like it was in The Witcher, because here you're just another, I guess, merc, another chumba in the city. So yeah. And second,
well, you obviously before you move off from the subject, obviously you're going to help Johnny Silverhand blow the Arasaka Tower, because if this doesn't happen in the game, I'm going to be very disappointed. So at some point, something needs to happen that destroys the Arasaka Tower in the corporate center. Not to mention, I don't know if I mentioned that before, but the last time that Johnny Silverhand destroyed the tower, he forgot a mini nuke buried deep inside the foundations. And then when Arasaka returned to Night Cities, I would have said, "Hey, I want to build a tower, but where my foundations were." Like, what happened to this bomb? It's still there, right? You know it.
You really hate that tower, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Johnny said, let's burn the city. I mean, why not?
Well, I have the theory. That Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand was copied. Yeah, was copied before he left 2013 to 2023. So probably he will have to discover what happened. And this is a theory of mine. Obviously, I can be wrong. But if he discovers what happened, also because when they did the attack to the Arasaka Towers in 2023, Militech told them that there wasn't any real danger for the population. Where the bomb was supposed to explode, there wasn't to cause damages on the rest of the city. Only the towers would be destroyed, which in the end that wasn't true. But he was killed before the mini nuke exploded. So he needs. What if he learns that he helped killing 500,000 people?
Oh my god.
because in the Arasaka riot there were killed 18 people, and he doesn't face that, but if he discovers it later, he may feel bad for that. But in the attack to the Arasaka towers, in the end 500,000 people died for that. So how is he going to react if my theory is true, and we don't leave it as a flashback that he already knows, but as something that he has to learn? How is he going to react to participate in the killing of 500,000 people?
Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting to see. Definitely. I mean, I don't know. He's probably gonna say, "Well, that happened a while ago. It's 2077. I'm an Angrim. I don't care." Oh boy. Okay, next question.
I could go on for days about that.
Yes, and obviously, like for everyone asking, there were even some questions like, what's his role gonna be? Like, obviously, as we learned before, Keanu said that he has the second most amount of lines in the game after the main character, so expect him a lot. From Dracula, we need more classes in the game before any other expansion. Don't worry about that, because they moved the highlight from classes and more onto Lifepaths, so they kind of matter more in that sense, while you will have a skill tree which you can pick and choose which one do you want, so it's more dynamic class system rather than being just a solo or just a netrunner or whatever. So you're gonna be able to.
The thing is that, sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
You all make long pauses between things, and then I think you're done, and then I cut in and I'm interrupting you. I'm really sorry. Really.
No worries.
I think they did something very smart in here, because the game is focused on the character player being a mercenary, and not all the character classes are mercenaries. I mean, the Medias, for instance, or the Rocker Boys, they are not. They may join some parties like Johnny Silverhand, but in essence, they are not mercenaries. So turning them into life paths, that's very interesting, because if you're a nomad, you can be a mercenary, but not a corpo. So creating a life path of a media, of a rock boy, that would be very interesting, or even of a cop, because as a cop you're a mercenary of the state, but not a freelance. The state of the state of the corporation, but you're not a freelance mercenary. So they choose the character classes that fit into this mercenary concept, and then the rest can be life paths instead of character classes.
I also think that this is actually a really good move for them to do, because what we're going to be looking at is a new game, right? You're introducing a whole new world. You're introducing new, almost a new genre. I mean, Cyberpunk's sort of common, but not too much. But you're also introducing a new world and new lore and new stories and new characters. And I think that it would be easier to connect people into seeing the life of a corpo or a street kid, rather than saying, "Hey, here's a couple of classes," right? Because the classes, that doesn't carry something that, I mean, that only carries something that some people connect with, like, right away. But seeing as they're not regular classes, like, a solo, a media, these are words that are pretty foreign to even gamers when you can contrast it with, like, a knight or a wizard, right? When you say knight, wizard, most everybody, including mostly non-gamers, get that. When you say solo or fixer, people have no idea what you're talking about. They're thinking, are you talking about like a new street drug? Like what? Like, I don't know what this is. And identity and connection go a really, really long way. There's been a lot of games that have flubbed because they didn't connect the gamer and the users and the players with the identity of the world that they were going for. And this is why classes typically, they're kind of like hit or miss, because if you don't name them correctly, you end up really like dropping the ball. It's like every once in a while you see a Japanese game come out where they flub the names, or somebody's decided to rename stuff. They named the rogue the warrior, and they named the warrior the guardian. It's like, that's not going to go over very well for the rest of, everybody else on the planet who's trying to play your game. So the small subsection is going to get that change. Most people are going to that's going to cause some consternation because of just how that stuff typically works. And so I think it was brilliant of them to put the story first and the gameplay second, but something that you will discover in the gameplay, and then by the time that they bring out the multiplayer, everybody who's played the single player is going to get and know where they're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, those classes that you talk about, like cop and all of that, those would work great if maybe in the future there are RP servers for Cyberpunk where they simulate real life, where they simulate Night City in that sense. And you have cops, robbers, obviously lawyers, media, whatever, and everyone has their role. I doubt in multiplayer it's gonna be like that, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, when I think about the multiplayer for this game, I always think about that role-playing segment, because that's just how it kind of started in the tabletop. So for me personally, it would be natural.
The game's super popular with GTA too. Like, was it last year or year before? I don't know how popular it is these days, but
very
it was
popular.
It was like the most watched thing on Twitch for like the longest time.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously they can. We don't know like what the multiplayer is going to be, but if they do, go with that, free roam / go on a missions kind of a thing, I think also that would work, because you just get different people to go on a mission, and then everyone is gonna be using their talents to help the mission in a way. For me, that would make sense, but that's more realistic in a sense. Obviously, that can turn into chaos. As we know from GT Online, get shot down by a flying rocket man.
Yeah, a lot of abuse. You can abuse pretty badly.
Yeah. But we'll see. That's still far away. And I tell people, like, they have their release date. That can be moved for 2 years. Don't worry. Like, it happens. It can happen. Beyond Bane Pepe. Beyond the Black Wall must be some insane AI programs to combat. You have a lot of engrams to worry about in AI. But I do wonder, like, what do you think? Like, when are they going to show, like, a bit of the net? Because, I don't know, I feel like that's one thing we lack. To just show us on NCV.
I think that
if they didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to see the net, and I don't think we're going to see anything past the midpoint of the story. This, because I feel that I see that where they have not really put out that much in the realm of the story, right? They've been keeping it fairly like close to the chest, and I believe there's going to be a big moment where it's either like maybe it's the betrayal, maybe it's the the stuff going sideways, maybe there's a big choice, but they don't show you literally anything after that spot. True. And that's a good thing, because if you show off that stuff, if you try and air it out too quickly, I mean, you're gonna end up like going, oh man, now we're not gonna be able to see that anymore, or sorry, the players understand what's going on, and you're spoiling the story. It's like those movie trailers where they put in all of the best jokes and then also the ending and the punchline for the ending. It's like, all right, well, now I have absolutely no need to go see this movie because you already spoiled everything. And I think this is something that they're really avoiding. I think that there's a big change or something like that happens at some point, or some place that they go. Maybe it's a shift, maybe it's the net, maybe it's going back to the 1920s in the form of a brain dance. Something somewhere is going to happen, and we're not going to see all of that. There's going to be something that's going to be hidden there. Yeah. So
yeah, I was referring mostly to generally the technical side, like the brain dance, maybe that. But obviously, if they want to keep the secret, I actually don't mind that, for it to be a surprise once we enter the net.
I think if there's anything that they leave for a surprise, it would be that, the net,
Yeah.
especially in their marketing.
Hope we can romance the black wall. Yeah. Oh my god.
Hey, Blackwall, you look really kind of tall and dark and imposing. We should hang out.
Yeah.
Get dinner maybe.
There was also a question I forgot. God damn it! Let me just. God, do you just sometimes just scroll through these comments and then it just goes to like the last comment? It skips like a whole portion.
Yeah. It's YouTube's amazing, brilliant way of doing chat comments and maintaining, the connection between us and the people listening. They are so good at what they do. They're so awesome and super skilled. Yep.
Man, so I don't know. Like so far, I'm just waiting for the game to finally come out.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything one comment that I liked. In order for an AI to be free, as a network agent states, they would need to be sentient like humans, for example. Well, AIs are sentient like humans, with the exception of the ones that were used to control the traffic and things like that, the most simple. But the ones more complex not only were sentient like humans, the ones that are upper to the type of AI that was called the SAT, which was an artificial intelligence that was programmed to imitate human thinking patterns. But there are artificial intelligences that go beyond that, so they are more sentient than humans. And these are the ones that Netwatch had to bargain with to build the black wall, because the black wall wasn't built because Netwatch wanted. The black wall was built because the artificial intelligences wanted it. If it wasn't so, Netwatch would have been able to stop the spread of the rabbit virus.
And I mean, for the most part, you want to keep your traffic control and whatnot not necessarily emotional, because or daydreaming, because I was daydreaming, I turned all the lights of the city green at the same time.
It's funny because when you think about sentient, you are applying a human standard. Well, it doesn't have to be like that.
No, I'm applying my my already cybernetic level to it.
Because one thing is the way of thinking of the SATs that are very similar to the engrams. Actually, they are more or less the same. But then you have all the artificial intelligences, and I wonder, how do they think? They think differently. They think completely differently to humans. That's going to be a very interesting thing to see on the net, because actually it seems that according to the world of Cyberpunk 2077, the book, these are the people, the beings that are in control of the net, of the old net. And also, I'm very curious if they are going to explain in the game with regards of the artificial intelligences is how the laws changed from the 20s, in which there was this movement that tried to fight for the rights of the artificial intelligences because they didn't have any rights. And we came to a point where you have the Delament Taxis, which is a company that is owned by an artificial intelligence. How did we go to from a place where they didn't have rights to a place where they can own a company? That's a very interesting shift, and I'm looking forward to see if we can learn about it.
True that. And also, everyone, you have to keep in mind, obviously, that artificial intelligence can think in a more calculative way. It's like when humans think, they think more emotionally. Well, most of us obviously make decisions based on emotional triggers. But AI, they are much different. The question that I actually missed was, can you romance random people? Well, I don't think everyone, but I'm sure that somewhere in a club or somewhere in a cafe in the game, you will be able to talk with some NPCs. I know Witcher had that.
Yeah, but be careful because maybe they send you an invoice later.
And
There's a lot of
obviously,
hookers in the world too. There's a lot of like hookers and joy boys and whatever in the world.
yeah, a
Well,
lot.
sex work is always related to poverty. And Night City is a city well, more people live below the poverty line in the whole United States. So you can expect an insane amount of sex work there.
Yeah, Jig Street. Yeah, that was funny to see like the entire street, just wherever you look, just rooms and stuff. I'm like, my God, how can we stream this?
You can't.
Yeah. AI has the drive to survive and multiply. They probably deliver them. I don't know. I love that here like AI are obviously gonna be more, how would I say, they're gonna have mind of their own. I didn't phrase that right, but they're gonna be free in a sense, and that's one aspect I loved in Altered Carbon is just the AIs and how they interact with each other and how they think, and that was fun. That was fun to see, definitely. Let's see what next. Well, obviously, besides the regular things we've seen at the Tokyo Game Show, we also had some merchandise, including that box. I don't know if you've seen that, but a bunch of those things are going to be tied to the Japan market, with some additions obviously going to the States and Europe. But a lot of merchandising.
Did we talk about those new screenshots? There was like a Trauma Team one that was like compared to 2018.
No, I think
I
we
guess
haven't.
it's like a really small thing, but
Yeah.
Trauma Team is like received like a updated look on par with I guess the rest of the game, obviously. It looks quite much more cinematic. I don't know which one I like better. This is one of the screenshots that I was like struggling with if I like 2018's better or 2020's better. Because for the most part I think most people like 2020's, including myself. But this one is like I kind of struggled with it because this one looks more gamey and cinematic and plasticky, whereas 2018's looked more real. And I'll link it in the
I'll pull it up. Just give me a second. I don't have the. Do you have it on Twitter? Maybe the difference between 2018 and 2020.
I think Night City Life, Andre from Night City Life posted it.
Let me see. Yeah, just a sec, folks.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, just shoot it to Discord and I'll bring it up.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Nice. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Yeah, and this was like the only one that I really struggled with in terms of which one I like better.
Where is it now? What? I love OBS. I love it so much.
OBS, the best program around.
I lost.
So great. I've got to reset it up on my computer. I am not looking forward to that actually.
Yeah.
Uh,
As you guys can tell, we're not streamers. Well, we are, but we're not.
Yeah. It's like, it's like Joe Rogan. I need my own guy that he has. All right, just pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah.
And here is the screenshot. 5 minutes later. Sorry about that. So it should appear very soon. There is a 30-second delay or something like that. But yes, what did you say that because of the red lines below?
It's just got, to me, it seems like it's got like a more cinematic. I don't know if there's a filter on this or not. Obviously, the bottom one is a screenshot, whereas the top is more a screen grab. So the bottom one could be like tailored. The smoke is a nice addition. It makes it seem, I don't know, more insidious in a kind of a way. But the top one just seems more realistic to me. I don't know. The bottom looks a tad plasticky. This is like I said, this was the only one that I struggled with on which one I like better. Obviously, the bottom one is clear, whatnot, but yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about that one. I'm probably in the minority with that one.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm speaking more on a like realism standpoint.
Does this one have RTX down here?
It could.
Maybe
Very
those
well.
reflections make it like that. Because I'm looking at their helmets or something, I don't know. But one thing, how did they set up the caution sign so fast? I'm
I think that's
interested in that
cool,
tech. Yeah. It's like they extended the hallway. I don't know. I personally, I don't see it being plasticky.
Well, the good thing about the caution sign is that you know where you don't have to go. The place that you have to avoid to be dangerous.
Yeah, you'll get tasered if you walk past that, right? They have taser.
No,
guns.
just shot. You know,
Yeah,
they're not gonna mess with a taser. They're just gonna be like, all right, well,
Paris
Yeah,
actually mentioned that. He went where you walk, where that police officer is, you cross the line, you get shot immediately.
Got you.
So fun to interact with the NCPD.
I do like the updated design of the dude in the back. He's got the red gloves versus just the flat, completely gray suits that they had in 2018.
Yeah. Actually, for a second, I thought that was the team, maybe with that from the Trauma Team comic. Because honestly, it would be cool to have Nadia also in the game.
You know what? You never know.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
There's also Sandra Dorset's story, guys. Everyone forgot about that. Like, everyone keeps thinking about the Black Wall and, like, what's with Sandra Dorset? What's with the NightCorp? For me, NightCorp is more dangerous than Arasaka. Trust me. That's how I view them. Yeah. What else?
Well, yeah, the difference is that nobody knows what NightCorp actually does. Apart from building civic infrastructures, there are a lot of rumors about them, but no proof. And you have to be very powerful to be able to hide the shady things you do.
And it's like you don't see really Arasaka and Militech jumping on them, so it's like, whew, you don't want to mess with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly expect some people that we either already saw in the gameplay or maybe that we're gonna see in the prequel, not prequel, the intro for the game. Some of them are gonna be working for NightCorp. Trust me, it's hidden agents, because that's how I would present it. Maybe I don't know.
I'm
Healthy
curious.
paranoia. NightCorp is the corporation that was funded after the death of Richard Knight. Was funded by his widow Miriam Knight.
I wonder, do they have more influence in the world versus Arasaka, or I guess we don't really know that at this point.
in the world as a whole, or is
just in
Night City?
Just in Night City.
I think this is one of the big story things that we're going to find, because I think that, I mean,
maybe they're pulling the strings at the end of the day, right? They're the
well, that, and I think she's out for revenge too. Like, I mean, I would be, yeah. So I suspect that she's not going to be a very happy camper.
Oh boy, yeah, this whole story arc with Richard Knight from like before, from even like when he got killed and all of that. Honestly, I'm like, yeah, this is not done. I don't know. He's such a vital part, and they mention him a lot, like obviously through the lore standpoint to introduce the story. But I wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, we don't have, like, we had no idea what the overarching story is going to be, like what the twists and turns are gonna be. So yeah, we just know the intro technically.
William Arca, any of you guys do have a low video NightCorp? Yes, I do. I do have a low video NightCorp and Richard Knight.
Yes, definitely check it out. He is a very vital part. I mean, the man founded the city.
I mean, any question that starts with, do you have a low video on? Yes, I do. I do. Go look to my playlist that it's about to reach 100 videos. It didn't reach 100 videos because I deleted the old versions of some to upload the new ones. But yes,
Mm.
and then if it's not there, then I have the other playlist with discussion of lore. Then it's in the other playlist.
Why did you delete the old ones though? You could have just linked to the new ones. Or just
Because
for...
it's confusing for people.
Yeah, I suppose.
I could link, but then people don't follow the links.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So I wanted to make it more comfortable for visitors.
Got you.
it's a bit difficult to do lore without proper gameplay, though. I mean, obviously, Mad Queen, you do. I mean, god damn it, you do animations and stuff, which makes it really cool. But yeah, obviously, a lot of lore videos are gonna be redone once the game is out, and check out Mad Queen and her lore. Definitely, if you want detailed and truths, obviously, because even Talsorian tweeted. I'm definitely proud of that. That she knows her
Yeah,
stuff.
It's a pic of my life as a nerd. Mike Pondsmith in person asked that I proofread his lore in Cyberpunk Red to look for potential inconsistencies.
So that wasn't a joke. That was real. I wasn't
No,
sure.
it's
if
real.
that
It's
was
real. I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I work for Talsorian.
Nice.
Nice.
I mean, not
Under the table.
not all the time. I collaborate every now and then with them, but it's been going on for some time now.
Really?
Very nice.
How did we not know that? Or maybe I just didn't.
I said so back in the
You
day.
didn't know that. The rest of us did.
Shit. Not bad.
We had Neon under NDA, don't worry, guys.
I obviously broke it just now, so
Well, I said that back in the day, but it's not something that I repeat every week because,
True.
well, I mean, because it's the things that I do with them or for them are not related to promotion.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have to say
Fair
in
enough.
every video. Talsorian is paying me to say this. No,
Yeah.
I do different things, like this one that is not related to promotion.
That's super cool.
Yes. Definitely well earned. So go check out lore videos. What else? I think we pretty much covered
You
everything.
thought it was a joke, Neon?
Well, no,
I just realized that.
Well, I thought it was like. Well, I didn't know if it was like a joke or like it was serious or what the scoop was. I didn't think about it too drastically.
Your lack of faith is disturbing.
I'm sorry. I mean, you're the lore expert for sure. So it was like a 50-50 toss-up, you know? Because they have like all the Night City headlines and all the jokes and whatever. It's hard to distinguish.
Oh, that's what you get when you do Cyberpunk. You don't even know what is truth and what is not anymore. It's like you question everything, every tweet. It's like, what is this? It's like when beep
I
happens.
just hope they continue with the Night City headlines because they were fantastic. They were so funny. This and Mike Pondsmith facts. Both hashtags were fantastic.
Yeah, definitely Mike Pondsmith ones. Oh my god, they were so funny. They were so funny. Yeah. Huge thanks also to Talsorian. They have been a very valuable and a good friend of the stream and of the podcast. Obviously, we had that giveaway with them a while back. So that was amazing to have. So huge thanks to them, and also huge thanks to Monster Fight Club for sponsoring that giveaway back in the day. All right, did we cover everything? I think so.
Well, I think we shall try to convince Talsorian Games to do a new giveaway when Cyberpunk Red is out, because the the giveaway of Monster Fight Club was amazing, but people were especially interested in the part of a copy signed by Mike Pondsmith. So
Who wouldn't?
I think what do you think, people on the chat? Do you believe that we should insist to Talsorian to see if we can have 4 more copies of Cyberpunk Red signed by Mike Pondsmith to give away?
Yeah,
We
go
will-
tweet at them. Go harass them so that happens.
Sorry?
Just kidding. Don't do that.
We will try.
Yes. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. I'm saying that we should try, that this is a thing. But trying doesn't mean that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, of course. But a Judge Dredd DLC would be great.
We already have Jet Red. Have you seen the mega buildings? They're peach trees. Well, the mega buildings and plenty more things, like the drugs. How the drugs are used in the game, also Jet Red. They are different to the way they were used in 2020.
I don't know. I would just want the same team from the previous Dread film. Everyone, including the gaffers, everyone to be the same. Give them 200 million or 300 million and let them do their work, because that previous film was amazing. Amazing.
They're going to make a series.
They are?
Oh, they were going to. Yes.
I think it got canned. Mega City 1?
Yes.
Yeah, it got scrapped.
Yeah. Really? I saw.
It was supposed to come out in
All
2019.
Urban talking. Yeah, but there was a pandemic going in the middle. It was postponed. It was postponed. Well, at least that's what the Carl Urban explained on Instagram. That it was postponed. Because he was the first that was fighting for this to be a thing. And I hope that Cyberpunk 2077 becomes famous enough for them to think about doing the series or the film or whatever. Because I believe that at this moment series give more money than films worldwide, thanks to streaming services. So probably a series. Also, it will be longer. Film is like 2 hours and a half if you're lucky, and a series can go on and on forever. Just give me more Carl Urban.
Yeah. People love to binge.
All his cyberpunk series got cancelled. The Almost Human got also cancelled. Almost Human was called.
I think so.
Dark Crystal got canceled.
Dark Crystal got cancelled.
Yep. Yeah, Netflix somehow they lost like a couple $1 billion worth of themselves lately.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, it's just a calm before the storm, before everyone starts doing cyberpunk genre shows. To be honest, it's inevitable, because same when the initial Ghost in the Shell came out, the anime film. There was a huge technological revolution. In that sense, that's when you had cyberpunk, be at its peak. That's when you had fear of what the future is going to bring. Are people gonna walk around with metal in their heads? That's the whole reason why cyberpunk got made, and what happens with our human race. And this whole, from 2000s until 2015, in my opinion, people got used to tech. And now, since we have Elon doing his thing, people are getting that same feeling again. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more. And there's
also another thing about cyberpunk, which is not only about technology, and it's about in the cyberpunk universe. One of the things that in all the cyberpunk universes of cyberpunk in the West, especially, one of the things that all authors insist more and more about is the feeling that you are not in control of anything, because you have governments that are corrupt and make laws against you. You have mega corporations that control you, and now with things like this pandemic that went on, people started to realize that we are not in control of plenty of things. And this same fear of there is forces that are stronger than us, not in this religious way, because also a medical crisis also involves a lot of interests between medical corporations that try to get the vaccine first, and then they try to step on other companies. They try to destroy whatever they are doing so they can have it first. It's not only about the illness in per se, which is not which can have religious meanings for someone, or nature is stronger than people. But it's also all these competing medical corps that somehow are making it worse and not better. And this feeling of we live in a world where we are not in control of almost anything, because the people with money are the ones who are in control, is so cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And this what happened in the last half a year reminded us that we are in the cyberpunk universe. So I believe that this is one of the reasons why cyberpunk, now it's the moment for cyberpunk.
Yeah.
In general, as a genre, not only the game.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm interested to see what the future holds, because when you just look at from 2000s to 2020, how much tech has changed, how the way we live has changed. So imagine the next 20 years. And especially with technology moving this fast, obviously we will move from technology being a necessity to technology and corporations giving out stuff which is, like augmentations and all of that. Because you need it. That's gonna be the thing. Cyberpunk is a warning? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. But yeah, they were right. They were right all this time, which is kind of crazy and scary, but wow. I was
Who knew that the countdown to the dark future that our Talsorian was doing was actually real?
Oh yeah, that ended before 2020. That was good.
No, we're catching up. We're catching up. Which is sad, but
Yeah.
we are.
Slowly though. Yeah. But it's just, it follows, I don't know. It's like some people just follow the blueprint of like what the authors wrote all this time ago. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna do exactly that. I was hoping more for a sci-fi future, where we heal everything, but no, that's not gonna be the case, not yet.
So there's a comment that says, I like the comment. Don't believe this shit. World is a lot different than one man prediction. It's not one man prediction. Cyberpunk is a genre made of people that were philosophizing and making questions about how the world would evolve from the moment they were in. So all the speculative fiction, all science fiction, talks more about the present than about the future. And all the cyberpunk movement, especially what is considered to be the true cyberpunk at the 80s, was built from the fear of what's the worst that can happen with the political situation we have, the political and economic situation we have in the world right now. And this is how cyberpunk started. And they imagined a future about the worst that could happen from the moment they were in. There weren't exactly predictions. That's why Mike Pondsmith always says it was a warning, because they were thinking about dystopias, about the worst possible outcome, but also an outcome that as it went slowly, because that there is something that William Gibson says that I always find very interesting. That is, what would happen if the apocalypse was so slow that people didn't realize that it was an apocalypse? Because everybody normalizes everything, getting used to whatever it's easy. So imagine how people live in the future with all that. It's something that now we're getting closer, because we are normalizing a lot of things that were the worst outcome 30 years ago. And this is very interesting, because how do you evolve that? How do you go over the top? Over the top we already went, because from 2018, I don't know if it's only me, from 2018 to 2020, the world went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
In general terms, you watch the news. I don't know what happened exactly. What was the gap? If they started to put drugs on the water, I don't know. But actually, the world went crazy. And that's the part where we go into the worst possible outcome that was thought at the beginning of our generation. And how do you evolve from there? But it was a speculation. It wasn't a prediction. It was a warning. They didn't want this to happen.
Yeah. And also like obviously, like when we talk about the real world being cyberpunk, like the real world doesn't need to have mantis blades to be cyberpunk. You just go from the just the socio-political situation, and that's cyberpunk enough, as MadQueen said.
Well, it's very funny because I follow William Gibson on Twitter, and he sometimes retweets tweets of people that talk about the kind of reality we live in. And I saw he retweeted a YouTube tutorial to make it. It was a makeup tutorial to hear everything normal, but it was a makeup tutorial designed to avoid facial recognition of artificial intelligences.
Damn.
Yes, it had a series of patterns in the face, so you would avoid facial recognition from artificial intelligences that are used for surveillance.
Yeah.
And this is super cyberpunk, you don't need mantis blades, as LastKnownMeal said. This is super cyberpunk.
Well, fun. We made your Sunday really nice, but it's not all bad. Like even in 2077, yeah, world went to hell, but there's also good things happening. Like it's not that bad. Fallout, that's bad.
You guys got Judy out of it, so I mean,
And Placide.
there you go. Placide.
Yes.
They didn't show a guy that was hotter than Placide so far, at least in my opinion.
No, you're not a Jackie fan?
Yeah, was it Jackie?
I like Jackie, but I like him as a friend.
Oh, friend zone.
But Placide, yeah, but you know, as Jackie feels too close to me. Like the character of Jackie, the character they made, also Mexican and Spanish people are very close when it comes to social character. And it feels like a friend. Jackie feels like a friend.
Misty likes that. Yeah, just someone mentions Judy, boom, the chat turns into Judy. Appreciation. Like every time I leave my Discord, I come back, it's like people just posting images of Judy. Oh my god. Alright, so.
We need to start those Placide appreciation.
Yeah.
That's your job. That's your job to start. You gotta start.
If we can trust him, though. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't want to trust him.
She just wants to bang him. That's pretty much.
The only thing that I want to trust is that he's going to do a great job. That's pretty much it.
It's like I see you everywhere. Everywhere?
Everywhere? Are we going to talk about this?
I think we pretty much covered all the topics so far regarding I'm not sure about next week, folks. I mean, they had a nice TWire. We might have some developer interviews, but even that now is a bit of a problem because they're probably all busy. Finishing
next week is the beginning of October, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So apparently that's when things start to
Yeah.
crank up in terms of print, radio, TV, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've got there's so much stuff coming, and there's so much stuff that's just going to hit the ground super hard. So just keep your eye out for that.
Yeah.
And we'll be tracking it as much as we can be. So
Indeed.
True. That infinite friend zone. No love for the bouncer.
Well, yeah, I like the way Jackie talks. It's very funny.
and the laugh.
And also he talks in English. Yeah, the way he laughs, he reminds me of myself. Because I not only laugh like that. I also laugh in the worst possible moments all the time.
Even Jackie's Japanese voice actor, because like all the gameplay that we've gotten over the last couple of days has been from Tokyo Game Show, so it's been in Japanese. All the voice actors from there are like insanely good as well.
Yeah, huge props to that. Like the Japanese localization, damn.
Yeah.
I also want to see the Polish one though. I just want to hear the Geralt actor from the Polish series. He's gonna be, I forgot his last name.
He's doing Silverhand, right?
Yeah. Zabrowski, god damn it. Sorry about that, folks, but yeah. Jackie looks forward.
Jackie's is Mexican. Someone is asking. Where is Jackie from? What heritage is he from? He's Mexican.
Dum Dum is the best waifu. I agree. So that's gonna be it for this week. What's the plans for next one? Starting from the right, MadQueen?
Well, I already released the video that I spent 2 weeks editing, creating in general. The ultimate guide to Night City, almost an hour long. Explaining everything about Night City, the map, the districts, the gangs that are there. Also a little bit of the mega corporations, although I will expand on that. Well, the next thing that I'm going to do is taking a nap because I didn't sleep much to finish the video.
And getting some pizza.
Sorry?
And getting some pizza, right?
Yeah.
Pizza is always the answer, definitely. Union? Anything interesting?
Yeah, I've still been kind of plugging away at my super long one that I announced like ages ago that people are disappointed that hasn't been released yet, but it will still come. And as
What is
usual,
it about? Oh, mystery.
I can't say yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, just news and maybe one lore video because I haven't done one in like 3 weeks, so do some lore. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Sip?
So we got some Cyberpunk stuff coming, but and we had a Cyberpunk campaign ad ready to go, and YouTube said no because it was shocking content. So yeah, we're kind of upset about that, but because that was going to be great. So now we have to retool it completely. But we've also been talking a lot about this whole like everything that's going on recently outside of Cyberpunk and CDPR. We've got this Mike Morhaime company started up. We've got this the leaks for looks like those 2 leaks or the 3 leaks. I guess it's 3 from Starfield are for the most part accurate. So that's interesting.
Oh, that's accurate.
We're gonna see where that goes. Yeah, so we're gonna be covering that and chasing that. We had a big long podcast about that yesterday. So, yeah, it's very interesting. We've got there's really some unique things starting up that way, and of course some opinions on fellow analysts and industry people as to some stuff. So check that out if you want.
Yeah, we're all in the final stretch. It's 3 days remaining.
53 today, I think.
Damn, we're almost there, and all of us we're gonna be playing the game soon. So yeah, this is the closest we had ever been, obviously, to Cyberpunk.
Just a couple more weeks. It's crazy to think about.
And then we don't even have to go outside. I think they're gonna solve the problem. Just November 19th. All right, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you everyone next week, and keep a lookout for more videos. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.